Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the business transformation pitch with the CX Goalkeeper. Today I am at Alex Wunschel. Hi Alex, how are you?
Hi, good morning, Greg. Fine, thank you. How are you?
Super happy and super thrilled because today is really about listening, but listening in a different way. Today's topic is why humans' voices are the secret to digital transformation. But as usual, before kick off in this game, let's learn about today's top player, Alex Wunschel. Alex, could you please quickly introduce yourself? What was your career highlight that you want to share with us?
Now, let's go back to the 1990s. I was literally driving through pedestrian zones and shopping malls, remote steering a talking advertising robot. Sounds weird, but was a lot of fun. I controlled it remotely with one hand, and in the other hand, I had a small microphone that allowed me to talk to the people who were fascinated by the robot and stood around it and walked by. So I made jokes, I commented on their fashion, on their behavior, and I chatted with them. And that was, I think, when I first discovered the power of voice, the emotion, the rhythm, and the dialogue that connects people. And a few years later, around the millennium, I founded one of the first e-commerce agencies in Germany. We grew quickly, around about 30 employees, great projects, a lot of excitement, but it also drained me a lot. I realized that building fast doesn't always mean building well. So before hitting burnout, I sold the company and decided to focus on something smaller, more personal, more meaningful. And so I decided to start a podcasting agency in the beginning 2000s, so 2004, 5. And I started as a solopreneur before even iTunes had podcasts. And that's when I truly found my voice. And I did more than 1,000 podcast episodes, more than 50 projects, corporate podcast, and helped others finding their voice too. And today my mission is really to help organizations rediscover their human voice in the digital world to make technology more human through sound, stories, and authentic communication.
Thank you very much, Alex. And I want to be honest, I asked Alex for support because I want to improve my podcast. I want to improve the quality of the episode. It means if in the future you will get better understanding of what we are discussing, if you get better sound quality, it's thanks to Alex. If it gets worse or stay the same, it's because I did not implemented what Alex told me to do.
You sound brilliant, Greg. It really worked out pretty well. So.
No, it's so cool. It's really thank you very much for what you are doing and the support. It was incredible having sessions with you, supporting me. And I am really thankful. And to everybody that is willing to start a podcast or as a podcast, feel free to reach out to Alex and ask for support because it's really doing a great job. And yes, a lot of know-how. I was told that you have at home more than 100 microphones. Is that correct?
No. No, that would be a big flex. But I think I stopped counting microphones at the 35 different microphone types. So not even 100, but 30 is a lot too. So I'm happy with that one.
I have only 3, thanks to you. It means I am started my career in this field with already 250 episodes. It means I need to speed up.
Don't underestimate the impact of the right microphone and the right scene and the right environment. So it really depends on the environment, on the room, on the reverb in a room, which kind of microphone you are really are best capable of to bring your voice to shine, So it might be this microphone or this microphone. And even if you go to out making an interview and grabbing someone else's voice, there are different types of doing that. It's like mobile microphones, Everyone's wearing this little Rode microphones and talking into them. The remote ones, they have a different pattern of sound. You decided to go more professional and make the people sound pretty good, so we decided to give you another one. So yeah, there's a big variety of microphones out there, and so you have to have a closer look at the situation and then do buy the right microphone. And I have 30 different situations, and so I have 30, at least 30 microphones.
Thank you, Alex. But now I think we are already starting the game, the discussion, why human voices are the secret to digital transformation. To the audience, don't hurry up, don't worry. We are not going to speak only about microphones. It's really interesting. And let's kick off speaking about the power of voices in digital world. Alex, you work with companies for years on podcasting and influencer programs. Why are human voices, especially from employees, so powerful for customer and employees?
Because voice is emotion. So it's the most direct, it's natural and human interface we have. In the world of full of visuals, automation, noise, the voice brings us back some essential, which is called trust. So when you hear a real person, a real tone, you feel the brand. So employees are the brand's most credible ambassadors. They are the experience, and that's why they need to talk about or think about their voices.
Voice, emotion, trust. That's an incredible link, a great summary, and I think that is really important. Only if people trust us, then we can change together. We can drive transformation. And you said audio storytelling can drive digital transformation. Can you explain how leaders can use this format for change and be more relatable and easier to follow?
Yeah. So I think change is really a special situation, and change always starts with emotion, and it doesn't start with a PowerPoint. So when leaders tell stories through voice, they create connection, not just communication. And I've seen it in a lot of internal podcasts when a CEO speaks out and speaks openly and speaks about the company's transformation, about uncertainty, about the personal doubts, the people listen. Not because it's perfect, because it's human, And audio helps to slow things down, to explain, to connect. It's intimate, and then you're literally in someone's ear, you have the figure. That's why it's such a powerful medium for a cultural change, embedding audio and voice into all the communication patterns you try to use to build this change.
And I really like what you're saying. What I also learned and I'm learning is you did this example of the CEO speaking to the people. And basically, it's the person itself. You mentioned PowerPoint and the CEO.
Yeah.
When a CEO is giving his talk, is in the middle of the room. Everybody's watching a team. Not everybody's watching up to the PowerPoint, as a lot of people, as a lot of team leaders are doing. They are showing to the PowerPoint, and they are on the side trying to explain and saying, "Oh, on this line is this, on that line is that." And I think here we are really giving an important advice to everybody, the importance of our voice. And this is also the simplest medium that we use to communicate. Reading PowerPoints, it's much more difficult and cumbersome than listening to somebody. And if somebody has a nice story to share, I think that's really make the difference. And you mentioned that many leaders struggle to communicate in a real human way. What are simple ways leader can sound more authentic to connect better?
You already mentioned one thing. So the leaders try to be flawless. They try to be correct. They try to read PowerPoint lines, which are pretty good prepared. But authenticity is not about being flawless. It's about being felt. And I think three small things make a big difference. So first, speak as you think, not as you write. Yes, when we write, we build sentences, but when we speak, we build connection. So drop the corporate jargon. Don't over-prepare every line. People can feel when you're trying to deliver a message instead of having a conversation. And just imagine you're talking to one person you really care about, so not an audience of thousands. That would be the first point. So speak as you think, not as you write. And the second one is breathe, don't rush. Silence can be powerful. In audio, pauses are not mistakes. They are moments of meaning, and a short breath before an important sentence helps your message to land emotionally. If you fill every second with words, You leave no space for others to feel what you just said. And third, don't try to sound impressive, rather try to sound present. When you try to impress, your voice becomes tense. When you present, it becomes warm. There's a difference in the feeling and in the reception. And the listeners don't remember your words, as you said. They remember how you made them feel, even in a changed situation. So drop the performance. Be curious. Be human. That's what's really authenticity sounds like, I think.
And that's incredible. You said 3 small changes, but I think these are 3 very relevant changes.
Yeah.
How would you advise people, the audience of this podcast, to start working on that? Because if you're speaking in front of a bigger audience, or if you're speaking with somebody important, you need also experience and you need to learn. And if you think about, oh, now I need to stop and make a pause, and now I need to say, but I want to be more authentic. What's your advice?
I think a good way would be to have a look at meditation practice. There's always the saying that take three deep breaths with yourself, standing in an elevator or being around the corner, and just focus on yourself and just calm down. It sounds pretty easy, but I see a lot of people rushing into talks, rushing into communication, into even podcasts, like last minute, and they hassling, and they are. So as we before this interview, we had a little chat about different things, and we had our fun, and we calmed down, and we came down, and what we tried to teach even people which are engaged in corporate voices, like corporate influencers, to make themselves really calming and focusing on their voice, going down, doing some voice examples and voice trainings. And with right about 60 seconds, they're really coming down to a focused conversation level. Because it's like in every, as we know, nearly everyone has studied, and we know the fact that if we go to an exam, we nearly feel like we forgot everything we learned and listened before. Now we do have this information in our brain, and by focusing on yourself and on your breath, you focus on your partner, your communication partner, and you get all the information by the second you need it. So you can be sure of that. So this is a little bit practice and training. And there are training exercises like breathing techniques we teach, and then it's really possible to make an authentic layer of speaking.
You mentioned something that it's really relevant. It's you need to train. You need time, and you said we are teaching that. How long does it take to get the first feeling of improvements? You as a teacher and the one on the other side learning about that.
Yeah, 3 episodes of podcasting.
Okay, it
now
means
it's really talking. There's even we talked about microphones before, and if some people are really hesitate to speak into a microphone. So we have big microphones over here, and some people are not really amused about. They don't like their own voice. They have to get accompanied with their own voice. They have to like their voice because this is like they sound, and they have to accept it. And there's no bad thing about your voice. So in nearly 1,000 podcast episode, I had one situation where I said, okay, this could be difficult because the sound is really squeaky. There was a danger that people making fun of this person, and we decided to look for a workaround. But training with microphones and the first impact, the big impact is like I'm wearing the AirPods right now, but we usually put on headphones for our interview partners. And if you do a little AQ with the voice and give them the chance to listen to their own voice, they really they feel in love. They fall in love with their own voice, and they are really liking it. And so they're getting the first minutes it's a little bit hassling, but it's getting calmed down, and they're getting really cozy with their talking and their speaking.
Thank
So
you.
how long did it take? It's like 1 hour and a couple of testing situations in interview techniques, and they're safe.
So cool, because I already did 2 discussion with you. It means it's only the third one missing, and then I will improve myself. That's 2/3 of the work is done.
You are a professional now. How many episodes is your experience? Like over 200, 300?
It's 250 with my podcast and roughly 20, 30 on a friend's podcast. It means I think, soon by the end of the year at 300.
Let's call that an experience. So
Thank you very much. Now we are going into the second half of this discussion, and this is more practical with more examples and learning really about old experiences. Can you share a real story where a company used internal voices or podcasting and saw a big impact either in the customer trust or employee engagement?
yeah, I recently really got a hold of this project, and this is getting one of my favorite examples from a company. Yeah, it's called Park IT in Germany, and they launched an internal podcast called Live at Park IT, and it's hosted by Stephanie Thieme, who works in communications and process management. And what I love about it is that it's by employees for employees, and they talk about internal projects, about new ideas, personal stories, and in a very natural conversational way. And this is where corporate communication gets community communication, and the result was amazing. The people felt more connected, especially in hybrid and remote settings. They said things like, now I finally hear the people behind the emails. And that's a perfect example of how internal voices can make a cultural and change not only visible, but audible. But here's the surprising part. Stephanie told us the podcast even inspired job applications. So candidates mentioned during interviews saying they could sense the culture and the people behind the company just by listening. And that's when you know your internal voice are doing more than informing. They're more attracting. So this is a pretty good example. It's a small one because everyone is asking about not only the big companies and big brands doing podcasts and having big studios. It's really a small, little good, effective podcast, an example how voice can leverage the brand.
That's really cool. And as you said, what I really think it totally makes sense is for employees created by employees. These are this discussion where you can share a bit more. And now that we are working digitally, and it means it's so difficult to speak, to have a coffee chat with somebody or something like that. It's one meeting after the other, and we have a lot of meetings coming and that you have time to have a discussion and people can listen to. And then you start feeding the people in a different way. And what you said, it's more emotional. You can create trust. And if you trust somebody, then you can work even better. And if it works also as recommendation tool that new employees will join, then even better.
And even in times of AI, it's getting more and more important to learn how we establish authentic and trustworthy channels with our customers, So you can't believe your For You page on TikTok or your Facebook or your LinkedIn algorithm and information For You page and your platform anymore, because there's so much slop over there, AI slop. So the voice, even that, okay, the voice can be simulated by AI too, but there is the uncanny valley where you listen to a voice and you feel the voice. It's pretty hard to feel an automated and AI generated voice. So training the people and the employees in an organization to train their voice, there will be a point where everyone is hitting a microphone and has the chance, is able to tell his or her story, and then the people should be better prepared.
Thank you very much. And I think you share now a very positive story with a great success story. Now let's talk about the flip side, because I think also companies sometimes fail. Do you have an example where then this approach didn't land well, and
Yeah.
what are the learnings out of it?
Now, I think the main learning is more than obvious as we talked about the positive things and the things to do. The downside of corporate podcast project or even embedding voice into a corporate is that they try to be they treat a corporate podcast like a press release. Yeah, they get it too scripted, too sterile, too safe. There are 8 people looking or listening to a podcast, and then you have to cut out little words and then sentences. And sometimes we do a lot of cuts on a numeric, on a factual way. So we have like we're doing the Amazon podcast or the telecom podcast, and sometimes there are information in a dialogue in a report being told that better not have been told because this is like listed companies and stuff. So we go into kind of editorial moment where we take out these pieces, but that's not the way to be too sterile. This is natural. It's still a natural way to communicate, being podcasting. But what happens when you are too sterile, too scripted, the people disconnect. The key is let go of control. Let the employees speak with their own voice, not in restricted brand language. So the people don't connect to messages, they connect to people. And we had especially one corporate podcast last time, and it faded after 6 episodes because of that, because they treat it like a press release, and that really doesn't work. No, then you can take your AI slop and put it out there. That's the same effect. So that's.
I think we are closing the loop, and we are really coming to the end of this game, but I still have some penalties for you. Closing the loop, because you spoke a lot about authenticity, and in this case, if you script everything and you check everything afterwards, then it's not authentic. It's only, as you said, the press release or a ChatGPT written text that is read by AI, and then you will not get the emotion of the people you mentioned at the beginning.
There's nothing wrong to prepare yourself by putting up bullet points on even questions you are provided. So there's nothing wrong about that. It's wrong, and we had several times. I had an interview, but a guest and partner in a big corporate podcast. We handed out some example questions on the red line and stuff, and he really wrote down everything, his answers, and he sat down and he was reading his answers, and we said, oh God, that's gonna be one of the shittiest episode I ever produced. We cannot do that. And then you have to be like have the experience to as an interviewer, as a host, to at least at this special example, we let them read through all his answers, and then we make a fun episode, and we just throw out really numeric questions, and we got down the red line, and then he was getting warm. He never thought that we would record at that moment. Yeah? And we said, okay, now we can stop recording. What? You didn't record that? You didn't record that? Yeah, we did, and we took this episode in the session. It was brilliant. So being prepared is good. Being over-prepared is like bad.
I fully agree with you. That's the same with this podcast. I have a few talking points that I go through, but at the end, it's really about having this discussion and creating a connection with you and for sure with the audience. Now we are coming to an end of this game, and now we have a few penalties for your quickfire round. Who is your role model?
I would call Adam Curry, the podfather. He invented podcasting and turned podcasting from a hobby into a movement. And with podcasting 2.0, he's still fighting for openness, for freedom, authentic voices. So pure passion, no gatekeepers. I would call Adam Curry, yes.
And your transformation superpower?
The third ear, like deep listening and recognizing patterns before others do.
The toughest challenge you beat?
already convincing companies that voice and audio are not nice to have. They are strategic tools and strategic tools for trust and transformation.
And your winning habit?
I try to listen to one new voice every day, a podcast conversation, even a stranger story, to listen to voice and getting more a hold of the impact of voice.
Thank you. And now we are coming to the golden nugget. Is Alex golden nugget? It's something that we discussed or something new to leave to the audience with?
I think digital transformation doesn't start with data. It starts with a dialogue. It starts with a voice, and it starts with yours. That's what I was thinking about, giving you a golden nugget, and motivate to build up your voice competence.
Alex,
your voice.
Thank you very much for your time. The really last question is where we can find you if somebody from the audience has any question to you.
If you want to go to alexwunschel.net, you find all the deep links into my LinkedIn profile and the companies and podcasts I do. So alexwunschel.net is like my link tree where you find all the information about me.
Alex, thank you very much for your time. It was great. You are a great podcast host. You are a great guest, and you are a great teacher. Thank you very much for
as you are, Greg. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It
was a pleasure.
For today, it's everything. I hope that you enjoyed this discussion as much as I did. Thank you. See you the next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.